Okay, let's be totally honest for a second here. If we were to peek at your browser history right now, how many open tabs are entirely dedicated to that self-published book you've been, meaning to write? We all know the drill, right? You open up Amazon to research a niche, which inevitably leads to a bestseller chart, which then pulls you down a rabbit hole into a review section, and before you know it, you're absolutely drowning in ideas, but you're totally starving for actual progress. Look, if your browser history is a graveyard of unwritten books, I completely feel your pain. And you are exactly who we're talking to today. Welcome to This Explainer.
Today, we are diving deep into a tool that's been making some serious waves across the KDP and self-publishing community. It's called SelfPublish Pilot AI. Now, this thing promises to completely eliminate that tedious, mind-numbing manual research process by literally turning the web pages you're already reading into structured book outlines, titles, and marketing assets. Sounds amazing, right? But does it actually deliver on that massive promise? Or is it just kind of another shiny AI toy? Well, we're going to objectively evaluate the software, parse through all those big marketing claims, and give you the absolute unvarnished reality before you even think about hitting that buy button.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The AI publishing problem. 2. The browser-to-book solution. 3. The built-in workflows. 4. The one real catch. 5. Safety features. And 6. Final verdict.
All right, starting things off with Section 1, the AI publishing problem. So to really understand why a tool like this even needs to exist, we first have to define the major bottleneck that almost all aspiring self-publishers face when researching on Amazon. See, the problem isn't a lack of information, and it's definitely not a lack of AI capability. No, the real bottleneck is your workflow. Soon your browser basically resembles the control panel of a small airport. You've got a tab for competitor descriptions. You've got a tab for reader reviews, another one for some niche blog post. The research is just trapped in whatever format you found it in. This creates what we like to call AI tab soup. Imagine you find a fantastic one-star review where a reader is complaining about a missing chapter in a competitor's book. You want to use that golden insight, right? But to do it, you have to manually copy it, drag it over to another window, and then try to figure out what to do next. It's exhausting.
Let's actually look at what that manual ChatGPT process entails. You copy the Amazon listing. You switch tabs over to ChatGPT. You spend time writing this massive prompt explaining the context, the niche, your reader. You ask for an outline. Then, back to Amazon to copy reviews. Back to ChatGPT to rebuild the prompt all over again. The review data estimates this whole song and dance takes about 5 to 15 minutes per asset, with something like 8 to 12 tab switches. You end up becoming incredibly efficient at just moving text around, but your actual book hasn't progressed a single inch. SelfPublish Pilot claims to completely replace this with a seamless on-page process. Literally just highlight, click, and you're done.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, the browser-to-book solution. So despite looking like a hefty traditional software box in the marketing materials, SelfPublish Pilot AI is actually just a super lightweight browser extension. It works smoothly on Chrome, Edge, Opera, Firefox, Brave, the whole shebang. It was created by a developer named Matt G under the AI Where You Work brand. And the core philosophy here is really smart. The AI should come to where your research is already happening, not the other way around.
And this brilliantly illustrates the simple 4-step mechanism at the heart of the extension. Step 1, you just open any useful page. Could be an Amazon listing, could be a niche forum. Step 2, you highlight the text that actually matters, like, say, 3 different one-star reviews. Step 3, click the extension icon and just choose your specific publishing workflow. Step 4, you get structured output immediately. The web page itself literally becomes the prompt. There is no rebuilding context because the AI is reading exactly what you are reading in real time.
Let's move on to Section 3, the built-in workflows.
Now, what do you actually get with this? The extension includes 12 front-end workflows, and they're organized super logically. The very first phase is all about finding the right book to write. So, instead of just asking a chatbot for generic, boring ideas, you highlight a review section and let the tool mine it for specific reader pain points. It actually builds a detailed reader avatar, showing you exactly who you're writing for. Plus, it gives you a competitor book breakdown that spots gaps in the current market. It takes ordinary reader complaints and turns them into a highly targeted publishing brief.
Once you've got your angle nailed down, you move right into the next phases, shaping and listing the book. You highlight your new direction, and the book outline builder whips up an 8 to 12 chapter outline, complete with a working title and subtitle.
Then it dives even deeper into the KDP-specific weeds. It generates a full, hook-led Amazon book description. It even finds 7 back-end keyword phrases, all under 50 characters, without repeating words, keeping Amazon's very specific formatting rules in mind. So you don't have to keep constantly reminding a generic chatbot how KDP actually works. But hey, the job doesn't end when you hit the upload button, right? One of the absolutely most interesting aspects of this offer is that they actually bundle a completely separate second extension totally for free. It's called BookPromoPilot AI. This tool gives you 12 additional workflows designed entirely for post-publish marketing. You can extract Amazon ads keywords based on real buyer intent, build out a full 30-day launch plan, and even generate review request templates. And get this, the templates actually comply with Amazon's ridiculously strict policies against incentivized reviews, which is just a massive pain point for so many authors.
All right, let's switch gears a bit for Section 4, the one real catch.
So on paper, this all sounds incredibly smooth, doesn't it? A totally seamless, all-in-one workflow for self-publishers. And the marketing materials lean super heavily into this being perfect for complete beginners. They explicitly promise that you don't need to be some expert prompt engineer or even have prior writing experience. But when we look a little closer, there is a technical hurdle that the main sales copy kind of just glides right over. So what exactly is the hidden barrier here?
So the crucial point is this. SelfPublish Pilot does not run on its own shared AI platform, and it doesn't just plug into your existing consumer ChatGPT Plus subscription. You actually have to set up your own developer API key with either OpenAI or Anthropic. Now, for a true beginner, setting up a developer account, configuring the billing, and generating a secure credential, well, that's a real separate technical step. And furthermore, this setup incurs separate, ongoing, usage-based costs directly from the AI provider, and that's on top of the initial price of the extension itself. It's not totally hidden. I mean, it's right there in the FAQ, but you really need to walk in knowing this.
Moving on to Section 5, Safety Features and Limitations.
Now that we've cleared up those technical requirements, let's talk about what the software openly admits it cannot do. I actually absolutely love this quote straight from their sales page. It says, "The software will not write an entire excellent book while you make tea." It explicitly states that it will not guarantee you sales, or rankings, or royalties. It really pushes back hard against the idea that AI somehow removes the need for basic human judgment. The software clears away all that administrative fog, for sure, but as the page insists, you are still the publisher. Fact-checking, editing, and making those final commercial decisions, that's entirely on your shoulders. And to actually support you in that role as the publisher, the developers included a pretty fantastic built-in safety feature. See, general AI models are pretty notorious for accidentally suggesting trademarked terms, famous franchises, or even celebrity names when generating book titles and keywords. But this extension includes a built-in KDP protection guardrail baked across all of its workflows. It's specifically designed to actively steer the AI away from protected intellectual property. Now, they are appropriately modest about it, reminding users that this is definitely not a professional legal clearance service. But as a first line of defense against accidental IP infringement, it's a highly valuable addition.
And finally, Section 6, Final Verdict and Pricing.
Let's look at an objective, side-by-side comparison here. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the trade-off you're making. Doing all of this manually with ChatGPT might cost you nothing, or maybe $20 a month if you have a Plus subscription, but you are heavily paying in time. We're talking 5 to 15 minutes per asset, and you're constantly suffering from that tab switching overhead. The Self-Publish Pilot extension drops that time down to mere seconds per asset for a $37 one-time fee, plus whatever those tiny variable API usage costs end up being. You are essentially trading a minor technical setup for an absolutely massive increase in workflow speed.
Now, regarding that price, the review data verifies that the front-end offer is indeed $37. Oh, and there's actually a real coupon code, PUBLISHVIP, that brings it right down to $27. However, you absolutely need to be aware of the platform this is sold on, Warrior Plus. After you purchase the main extension, you're going to be presented with a sales funnel containing up to 10 unconfirmed upsell offers. This includes stuff like recurring white label subscriptions and prompt vaults. Honestly, it can feel a bit like a maze, but remember, you only need that front-end offer to get everything we've discussed today, so just navigate that funnel carefully.
To make sure you are fully prepared, here is your actionable pre-purchase checklist. 1. Confirm that you are completely comfortable setting up an OpenAI or Anthropic API key. 2. Budget for those small, separate API usage costs we talked about. 3. Don't forget to use that coupon code PUBLISHVIP at checkout to save a few bucks. And 4, verify the terms of any upsells you are presented with very carefully before ever clicking Accept.
At the end of the day, Self-Publishing Pilot AI clearly offers a genuinely well-reasoned solution to a very specific, very annoying problem, provided you don't mind that little API setup step. It brings much-needed structure to the absolute chaos of online research, so the question you have to ask yourself right now is this: are you ready to trade all that tab switching for actual publishing, or will your next great book remain trapped forever in your browser history? It's time to take action on your research. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy